Good morning, students. Today I am going to give you a brief introduction about one of the important systems of your body, that is your endocrine system. So, endocrine system, first of all, we will see the study of endocrine system is known as endocrinology, and father of endocrinology is Edison. He is called the father of endocrinology because he was the first to introduce the disease. Today it is known as Addison's disease. That's why he is known as father of endocrinology. So the main work of endocrine system is to produce the hormones. The hormones, that is also known as biochemical messengers, that is only responsible for transferring the message from one part of body to another, that is totally from the brain to all the parts of the body. There is one endocrine system, that is your pituitary gland, you might be aware of, which is responsible for dealing with all the different types of system of the body, that is your endocrine systems, that is controlling all the system of body. Means without the information of the pituitary gland, none of the endocrine system will work in the body, and as a result of which the metabolic activities will be disturbed. Okay, so now I will tell you about the differences between the endocrine glands and the system between endocrine gland and exocrine glands. So there is too much differences between them. In endocrine glands, they do not have any type of ducts, but in exocrine glands they are having the ducts. Simply it means that in the endocrine system, the hormones are secreted directly in the bloodstream, and in the exocrine gland through the ducts, that is a gateway is present from the secreting organ to go into the bloodstream. This is the difference. Example of endocrine system, endocrine glands are, first of all it is pineal gland, then it is hypothalamus, then pituitary, then thyroid, then liver, pancreas, testis in males and ovaries in females. So these are and one is adrenal gland also. So these are the endocrine glands having the specific function, and accordingly in the body there are two types of control. One is your nervous control and one is your endocrine control. So in case of nervous control, that is totally maintained with the help of impulses, totally guided by the neurons, and in the endocrine system that is totally guided by the hormones. If you will talk about the receptor, the time duration for which it will work, then in case of hormones, it works for a large time, and if you will talk about the neurons, it works for only a short interval of time. So once the message is given, message is transferred, and the information means activity are done, then the response is ceased. But in case of hormones, what will happen? The information is carried out for a long duration. Okay, then we will talk about the features of hormones. So first, as I have told you, it is directly poured into the bloodstream from their gland, and they are transferred to the target organ via the bloodstream. Target organ means that organ to which the hormone has to be transferred. Then second one is they have the specific effect, that is either they will promote or inhibit any physiological process. The third is they will act only on a target organ, usually away from their source. So if the source, suppose example I am giving from the pituitary gland, suppose any hormone is being secreted, it is to be transferred to different organ, like the growth hormone it is there, so the growth hormone it will be transferred to the thyroid gland, so that the metabolism of the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, etc., etc. will be done. So that's why it is being told that they act on target organ away from the source. Then chemically, if we will talk, the hormones are steroids, amino acids, peptides, or some amino acid derivatives. Next, hormones, they are never providing any type of energy, but they have their effect on growth and physiological process of the target organ. And next is, they are produced in very small quantities and they are biologically very active. And next thing is, both over secretion and under secretion of the hormones, that will lead to any type of diseases in the body. Okay. Now next is your pituitary gland. So we will talk about the pituitary gland here. Pituitary gland is a small pea shape, and it is outgrowth under the midbrain, at the base of midbrain under the hypothalamus. In fact, this is attached to the hypothalamus by a pituitary stalk. Okay. Then it is the smallest endocrine gland. It weighs about half a gram. Okay. Now the pituitary gland has two lobes. One is your posterior lobe and one is your anterior lobe. So the posterior lobe has an intermediate lobe in the front portion, and it is nearly absent in humans, but it is well developed in some of the lower organisms. Okay. Then we will talk about the secretion of hormones by the pituitary gland. It is the master gland, as I have told you, because it is controlling all the different types of glands in body. And both the lobes, they are secreting the various hormones in the bloodstream, and majority of the pituitary hormones, they regulate the activity of other endocrine glands. Okay. So now come to anterior lobe. Anterior lobe is also known as adenohypophysis, and posterior lobe is also known as neurohypophysis. Okay, if we will talk about the anterior lobe or the adenohypophysis, that is, it is secreting the different hormones. The first one is your growth hormone or somatotropin. Okay, somatotropin or the growth hormone, that is influencing the growth of long bones. Okay, and it is responsible for promoting growth, and it also helps in protein synthesis. Means it promotes protein synthesis. So now coming on to the deficiency, if the deficiency of the growth hormone will be there, means under secretion, so it results in dwarfism, that is hyposecretion or under secretion. And if it is in over secreted, that leads to gigantism, that means the size of the body, the length of the body will be too much long. Okay. And in case of adults, if we will talk, the hypersecretion leads to acromegaly, where what will happen, the jaws, hands and the feet, they grew out of proportion. Okay. Then you have ACTH, second one is there. ACTH stimulates the activity of adrenal cortex, including secretion of glucocorticoids. Means the cortical region, adrenal glands, cortical region will be activated, and the glucocorticoids will be secreted. The glucocorticoids helps in the metabolism of glycogen. Okay. Then you have next is TSH or thyrotropin. It stimulates the activity of thyroid gland and activates the thyroid to secrete thyroxine. Then you have gonadotropic hormones. Next one. Then gonadotropic hormones are of three types. Then you have first one is your FSH, that is responsible for growth of follicles in females and sperms in males, and it is also affecting the release of estrogen and progesterone. Then you have interstitial cell stimulating hormone, then that is ICSH, that is helping in the interstitial cells of the testes to secrete the testosterone in males. And then you have LH, luteinizing hormone, that is releasing the ovum from follicle and secretion of progesterone from the corpus luteum in case of females. And next one is leukotropic hormone, LTH, or it is also known as prolactin. Prolactin, it is secreted after the birth of the baby in case of females, and it is directly affecting the mammary glands, initiating the milk secretion, and it also helps in secretion of progesterone. Okay, so this was all about the anterior lobe, that is your adenohypophysis. Now coming on to the posterior lobe, that is the back lobe, neurohypophysis. It is second name is neurohypophysis. So now coming on to the hormones, first one is vasopressin or ADH, antidiuretic hormone, that is responsible for regulating water absorption in kidney. ADH controls at the same time water and salt balance in the body. Okay, and if there is under secretion of ADH, that results in diabetes insipidus, which causes excessive secretion of urine. So nowadays it is very common in persons, diabetes insipidus, where there is excessive secretion of urine. Then next is your vasopressin, that is raising your blood pressure.
कॉपी में चेक किए थे कोई मार्क्स बच्चे किसी कॉपी में आया था, दो बच्चे का, एक प्राची का
दिखाइएगा तब ना हमको बताइए।
कॉपी नहीं मिल रहा है, तो कहा राय सरकार है, तो कॉपी स्टाफ रूम में था लाइब्रेरी में
9th का कॉपी शायद इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज
कॉपी में छोड़
जहाँ पे